I have a question, Stuart, Chris.
Yes.
Stuart, since our retreat with Rudy, it seems that everything has become more simple for me and more direct. And I especially want to ask about the combination of love and detachment for working with people who are ill.
Well, uh, in order to love somebody unconditionally, profoundly, asking, nothing in return, but maybe closer connection with spirit, you have to be, first of all, detached from your own internal chaos. And secondly, literally detached from them. Now, detachment doesn't mean that you isolate yourself, that you have no emotions, that you don't love, all it means is that you can interact with another human being without allowing the drama of the moment to suck all your energy dry. You have the strength inside yourself to do that. And then you can, in a very conscious way, see what has to be done. You're not interfering with the process. You're not getting all emotionally involved with some huge soap opera that by the time it's finished, you don't have any energy to even do anything. You have the strength inside to stay open, stay connected with spirit, keep your heart open, to love another human being unconditionally, and to allow yourself to do whatever service you can do to help that person. But without that detachment, you understand, we get so emotionally crippled by our relationships with other people that we can't see beyond it. And by the time that state goes away, we're completely drained of energy. It eats us up. And in order to, heal other people, to help, you have to have a lot of energy. Understand? You take upon yourself very deep problems that another human being has. And you have to know how to extract those problems and at the same time drop them, get rid of them, not allow them to eat you up inside. And if you're emotionally crippled by the situation, you'll get eaten up. You don't have the strength to drop the tension that you're receiving from somebody who's sick, who's going through a difficult time, So detachment is very important. And look, life is about detachment. Anyway, one day we got to give it all up.
Yeah.
One day it's all gone. I'm not saying this to frighten anybody, but it's true. One day, no matter how hard we try, we have to surrender everything. So, part of the learning in life is to have experience and to allow that experience to teach you how not to be attached. You cannot be free of anything you haven't experienced. So we need to experience life in all its dimensions, everything, relationships and money things and, the pressures of life, we need to go through, you know, the forest, and we need to learn how to get stronger because of what we experience so that we can open and attract experience, but not allow that experience to drain us of our life. I mean, you look at people, classic example, I was talking about this in meditation yesterday. In the media, there was a picture of Donald Trump. And usually I used to look at this guy and get upset. Yesterday, I looked at him and I had so much compassion for this man because he looked like one of the most unhappy people I have ever seen in my life. deeply disturbed inside himself, unhappy. He looked to me like a 10-year-old child in a 78-year-old body who's not getting what he wants and is screaming at his mother, I want that ice cream cone. I want this, you know? And exactly, he looked like it was terrible. And instead of being upset at him, I really felt deep compassion for this guy, you know? And if I didn't have a detachment to myself, his craziness would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
What he does to other human beings. But I just looked, I said, my God, this guy is one of the most disturbed people I've ever seen. Belongs in an institution.
Yeah.
So I like my heart open. I'm free of Donald Trump. I learned how to have compassion.
Thank God.
I mean it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is we got to learn how to understand, to experience every element of life. And at the same time, how every element of life has to teach us how to let go of it, to surrender it. You got to have success in life to truly be free of success. If you haven't had it in this lifetime and you're free of it, then you probably had it in your last lifetime. That taught you that it's just Maya, it's an illusion. So, what I'm saying is that attachment is very important because one of the great problems in the world is people hang on to everything they possess till the possessions totally possess them. And then when these things start being taken away from them, you understand there's so much angst, there's so much anger, there's so much upset inside. Life is being taken away. They never got the training in how to let go, to understand that we really possess nothing. It's all just a gift.
Yeah.
And we have to learn how to be grateful for the gift and be free of the gift. And that's even the people we're involved in, relationships, marriages, family. It's a gift. It's an extraordinarily sacred gift that's teaching us in the profoundest way how to love other human beings without getting deeply attached to them and emotionally distraught because of difficulties that they go through.
Thank you with all my heart.
It's the gift of life. Everything's sacred, but who can possess God? How do you possess God? It's a hopeless endeavor. You can embrace the sacredness. You can be grateful for the sacredness. But part of our responsibility is to recognize how sacred it is and to allow it to be our teacher so that we grow because of it closer to what is real. And that's infinite energy in the universe, not things that manifest around us. It's one of the great mysteries of spiritual practice. It's also one of the great mysteries of the arts. Where
Yeah.
does all that creativity come from? You understand? I mean, if it came from each and every one of us, every dance, every, you know, every movie, every, work of art would be the work of a crazy person. So it's that detachment, that energy comes and manifests as something sacred, teaching us how to get free. And this is not easy to grab because people are very lonely, they're unhappy, they need companionship, and they think something out there is going to make a difference. Sometimes it does make a difference. But unless a person builds that system in themselves that's connected to spirit, everything comes and goes. Everything else comes and goes. I'm not trying to, scare people. I'm just trying to touch on a few realities here. What living is all about and how we can be happy while we're alive instead of, oh my God, get away from me, this, my heart, blah, blah, you know, and learn how to get stronger and more loving because of what comes into it and more connected with gratitude to higher energy in the universe.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good question. Does anyone else have a question? It's like that wonderful poem by Shakespeare in Macbeth. Extraordinary. Probably one of the greatest pieces of existential writing ever created. It's tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in that this petty pace from day to day until the last syllable of recorded time. Most people's lives are that way. Out, brief candle. Life is but a passing shadow. Poor player that struts and frets his hour on the stage, and then is heard no more. It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
I played Lady Macbeth.
Extraordinary, so brilliantly written and beautiful and so profound because it touches 8 billion people strong at tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And the only way to transform that tomorrow is to get connected to spirit. Because then life is not a brief candle. Life is infinite without limitation. Does anyone else have a question? Love is without limitation. God is love. Most trite thing that I've ever said is written everywhere. God is love. And when a person has that kind of gratitude in their heart, they're saying the soul has attained literally a state of enlightenment. They're connected with what's infinite in the universe. Does anyone else have a
Hi,
question? Yes? Please, yeah.
just the same. I don't things repeating, I guess, but just that God is love, and I know it's just that we just have to keep practicing, but how to keep remembering that God is love, and that I am loved by God, and that other people are loved by God, when most of what we see around us is hate
How to
and
keep
people
remembering.
hating
Well, look,
me
let me
and
answer the
other.
first part of it. How to keep remembering, okay? You, as a human being, have to build a system inside yourself that makes it possible for you not to forget this. That's your covenant with higher energy in the universe. Your job is to build an inner life that makes it possible. You are strong enough to keep your heart open. And if you're strong enough to keep your heart open, you will experience God, infinite energy, whatever you want to call it, is the source of all love. But you have to do the work. It's not to come and expect this or to be, supposedly, well, this is just supposed to be the way it is. And how do you know that God is love? The patience of the universe with the human race is something beyond all human comprehension. I mean, if it was up to the human race, it probably would last one generation. After one generation, the place is so crazy with people's ego and their belief systems and who's right and who's wrong and fighting and killing. And, it never stops. It would be one generation. I mean, the patience of the universe and now enables a new generation to be formed and a new generation. And hopefully over time, through infinite amount of time, the souls of human beings learn why they come to the earth. So call it God, call it the universe, call it infinite energy. I don't know. I'm not a theologian. I don't know what to call it. But that energy has infinite amount of patience with human beings and the souls of human beings to keep coming here to learn what they truly are born here to attain, which is love. So a lot of people don't believe in reincarnation. I believe in. I can't believe anybody can master this in one lifetime. I can't believe it, you know. And it takes lifetimes, and the universe provides that. There's a new generation of people. So that really is basically what I'm talking about, you know. Lori, you're an hour late. You got to check your clock, dear. I don't know where you are now, but you're an hour late. The class is just about over.
Is
So
it
check,
changing clock?
huh?
Is it clock is changing in the
Clock
yes.
changed, yeah. So it changed about 2 weeks ago. So
Okay.
check your clock. What time, wherever, I don't know where you are, Norway,
I'm at
somewhere.
home now, eventually.
Yeah, yeah. Well, check your clock, what time it is in where I am, where you are, and then
Okay.
that'll tell you when the class is.
I will.
So I hope look, this is a little metaphysical and maybe a little bit over the top. I don't know, but it certainly is. Uh, I think it's the way we are treated as human. The universe has to have patience with us. Look at the crap that goes on here. And it's nonstop, nonstop. And yet every single human being has a singular purpose of why they come here. And that is to find the root that gets them to a place in themselves where they can truly live with unconditional love, with joy, with happiness. And if they don't do it in one lifetime, it could be 100 lifetimes down the road. But also, there's another lesson. Who the hell wants to keep going through this for 100 lifetimes? I mean, that in itself should shake people up to do what they have to do in order to learn how to keep their heart. God is love. God isn't killing other people, fighting wars. You know, God isn't being right. Maybe God is a little bit more being wrong, because then at least you can learn something. And frankly, I have no idea what God is, except the more I grow in myself, the more at peace I become in myself, the more patience I have with myself and with other people, the more love is in my heart, and the more I'm willing to serve higher energy, human beings, and do what I have to do on the earth in order to finally get to a place where God is unconditional love. Does anyone else have a question? I hope it's clear what I'm talking about. I think it's very important, this stuff. And if it gets to be a little bit clear, then you start having patience with yourself and you start having real priorities about what you have to do with your time, your day, your life to get to a place in yourself where there's joy, there's love, a consistent level of joy and love and happiness. I've said it before. I'll just finish this. When I was younger, I used to study a lot of philosophy. I read, Socrates and, Plato, Aristotle, all of them, books piled on my desk. And one of the things I noticed in every one of these philosophers, Aristotle had a whole different technique than Plato. But they all arrived at one place. The goal of humanity, the goal of life is happiness, to be happy. And when I was a kid, I got into big fights with Plato and Aristotle. It can't be the goal. There's got to be. As I got older, I began to realize how true that is. That's the goal of life. To live with an open heart, to be grateful, to be happy, and to be able to look at, the president of a country and to really see what I'm looking at, a 10-year-old child, in a 78-year-old body and not be angry at him, have compassion for him. He's a poor suffering person who's taking it out on the rest of the humanity. It's really something. It made me grow coming to that realization. Anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. And there'll be class on, what is today, Tuesday, on Thursday. Looking forward to seeing everybody. And I have nothing but gratitude. I say it all the time. You're probably sick of hearing it. The presence of each and every one of you here, because it really demands that I have to grow in myself and come to a level that I don't, that is not my ordinary level of living, so that I can truly become a servant of this higher energy in the universe. So thank you, and God bless you all. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Stuart.
Thank you.
You're welcome.